I'm on a mission to make my son's mission about Lisa, and I love that for me. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I am here to review Season 4, Episode 8 of The Real Housewives with Toxic Moms of Salt Lake City. We start the episode off at Whitney's house and she's in the kitchen pretending to clean. Her husband Justin walks in and she drops the news on him and she tells him,
I actually just got off the phone with Mary Cosby. We actually agreed to hang out together and I'm thinking of bringing my Tickle Me Elmo doll just in case she wants to play together.
And then she tells him, well, we never really got to air our issues out, our differences. And I'm like, you mean you never got to air out your differences? Whitney continues forgetting that this whole thing between her and Mary all started because of her, trying to take her down on Season 2. And now she's trying to victimize herself and make it seem like it was a two-way thing. Mary's only simply reacting to you and calling you all these names because you started it with her. And then unfortunately, we never really got an ending from that because she disappeared after Season 2. So Whitney says that she's gone to meditation, to therapy, but Mary Cosby continues being a topic of conversation. She makes it sound like Mary Cosby is some type of Freddy Krueger or something that's haunting her dreams. I could picture Whitney going to her therapist every other day like, doctor, and then she called me those magical words that still haunt me every single night. She called me little girl. Like I can already picture Whitney just rolling around in bed at night, waking up Justin like, honey, she called me a little girl again in my dreams. And then we see in the flashback, she's actually calling Mary. And Mary's like, okay, fine. I agreed to sit down with you at some dinner. But if I'm not feeling it, I'm not showing up. At least she was honest, right? So then they start talking about their daughter Bobby's birthday celebration that they're having for her birthday for their birthday celebration. And Justin is just like, oh, so when are we having that? Whitney has already planned the party for her actual birthday, but Justin can't make it because he has a work conference that he has to go to. So he tells Whitney that the most he can do is a phone call. And I just don't understand how both of them are not on the same page when it comes to their daughter's birthday celebration for her birthday on her actual birthday. Because you would think if you're throwing something big like this, you'll talk to each other like, hey, are you available this weekend? Is this day good for you? But no, Whitney, she's just looking at the calendar, blindfolded like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's go with this one. Justin, are you available? You're not? Oh, well, we're still having the party this day, and that's that. You see, Whitney, if you worried less about Meredith and memorizing everything that she was talking about the rumors and the husbands when it comes to Angie K, and more worried about your husband, maybe we wouldn't be in this situation, now would we? So then we see Heather and Monica meeting up the following day from Angie K's party, where Monica and her mom had just gotten into that big fight. And what do you do when you want to relieve some stress and not put your hands on your toxic mother? You go snowboarding, and that's exactly what they did. They went snowboarding all through the snowy mountains, once on top. They took cute selfies, and then we got down to the trauma bonding. They went back down. Heather's telling Monica, I really was so sad to see you and your daughters leave Angie K's party like that. You left with no shoes on, no nothing. I had to pay for your mom's Uber, and it was like $52 plus tip plus tax, and she didn't even say thank you, and I just do not appreciate that. So then we get a little bit more insight on Monica's relationship with her mom. And before she even says anything, she starts crying and she tells us not only did her father abandon her when she was 5 years old, but her mom also abandoned her when she was 12 years old. Allegedly, she dropped her off at some stranger's house in Pennsylvania to go do her dream job in New York City. So while Linda, her mom, was in New York City doing who knows what with who knows who, Monica, she was being raised by strangers. She went to school with strangers, and that was her childhood. So she also tells Heather, I have abandonment issues because that's all I know. But according to Linda, her mom, she posted a video on Twitter. I'm surprised she knows how to use Twitter. Basically says, no, what are you talking about? I did not leave you with strangers. You knew who these people were. What are you talking about? So obviously they're both still not on the same page to this very day, unfortunately. And I'm not trusting anything that Linda has to say because we've seen her behavior this episode and the last, 2-3 episodes, and how she'll manipulate any type of narrative to fit her narrative and to make her look better than her daughter. So I'm not trusting it. We head over to Lisa's house where we see her husband, John. He has this big big box full of memories inside from when he first joined the cult and his first mission, which I believe he was stationed in Las Vegas, if I'm not mistaken, which I don't know how he did it, to be honest, because I couldn't do it. If I was stationed in Las Vegas and I'm on the party bus, we're about to take a tequila shot, like shot. Oh wait, I forgot I'm here to do a mission. Hey, by the way, do you want to join the Mormon church? You don't? You don't want to do it? It's okay. Let's take a shot. Shot. You know, waking up the next day with a hangover like, oh, my head hurts. What's going on? Oh, yeah, I forgot. I'm here on a mission. But do you want to join the Mormon church? Like nothing will get done, right? So he takes the box down to his son, Jack. And I did like seeing their relationship together because Jack was very open to hearing about his dad's experiences with his own mission. And even though I personally don't agree with what they're talking about, I still thought it was cute the way John was showing him pictures like, look, Jack, this is me when I first joined the cult. And this is me wearing a creepy outfit that you're probably going to be wearing too, okay? And then in the confessional, they asked him, so, how long did you know about your son's mission before Lisa found out? And he says that he knew about it 2 weeks in advance. But if Lisa would know that information, she'll probably beat the shit out of him. I promise you, John, Lisa's not beating the shit out of anybody on this show, but so you're safe. So as they're having their father and son quality moment, it was all ruined the second Lisa came in. Lisa could not wait. I know that the producers were probably holding her back like, no, I want to go out there. I want to go and make it about me. Get off me, producers. Get off me. Hi, everybody. Hi, baby gorgeous. Hi, Jack. Hi, John. Oh my God, what's inside the box? Is that a gift for me? Is that Chanel? Like, you know, she could not wait. So she came in and already Jack, he's looking at her all annoyed like, okay, well, so much for talking about me and what I want, right? So Lisa, she comes in and she's like, oh my God, so what's going on? What's happening? What are we talking about? What's happening with this mission? Oh my God, wait a minute. Are you talking about when you're leaving? I don't want to talk about this right now. Wait a minute, no, I don't want to talk. And I'm like, Lisa, relax. Then they start playing this sad music in the background. John, he starts getting all emotional and he starts telling Jack, if for some reason you don't want to complete your mission and you want to come back home, that's completely fine. We're not going to judge you. You're always welcome to come back. And then the sad music slowly dies down like, the second Lisa starts talking again. Because Lisa, she jumps into this conversation and she makes the whole thing about her and she has no shame about it too. She's like, oh my God, hold on, John, hold on. Because I have a good story. So back in college, you know, I walked in on my roommate. It was so weird. Hold on, it's gonna be funny. I walked in and for some reason, my roommate was trying on my clothes. And guess what the reason was? No guess. You don't want to guess? Okay. So I walk in and I'm like, oh my God, why are you trying on my clothes? And she says, well, I just wanted to know what it was like to be Lisa Barlow for a day. I think it's pretty iconic, don't you think? I'm like, Lisa, like, like that is crazy. Like, is she not aware of her behavior, of her mouth? Like, does she not care? Even Jack was looking at her like, what? Are you serious? And it just goes to show you, Lisa, he didn't tell you about this mission to begin with because he knew that you were going to make it about yourself and yourself only. Even when he tells you, oh, all I want for my reveal party is a charcuterie board. That's it. You weren't happy with that for some reason. You want to make it about you. And you're like, oh, a charcuterie board? No, that's so boring. We need something else. Like, that's really all you want? When it's his reveal party, it's not yours. And then she criticizes his hair by saying, oh, why is Jack getting blonde hair? This is not the early 2000s. Like, Lisa, don't act shocked if he eventually stops telling you things or stops speaking to you in general. Next, we see Heather, Whitney, Monica, and Meredith show up to this open space full of snow to do this activity called cross-country skiing, where you put on some skis to go walking on the snow. Just be giving names to anything nowadays. Like, it's called walking. But did anybody see the way all four of them pulled up to the parking lot in the same black truck? Like the Fast and the Furious? Like, it was so badass. Heather, she pulled in first, skirt. And then Whitney, skirt. And then Meredith, skirt. And then Monica, skirt. Hold on, guys, I'm coming. Skirt. I thought it was pretty badass. So they get out, they put on their equipment, they start walking or cross-countrying across the field. And for the most part, the activity was pretty calming. They circle back to where they parked and Heather tells them, maybe we should sit down and eat something for a second. And I'm looking at her like, where do you see food, Heather? Next thing you know, her car becomes the Batman mobile because she opens up the trunk. Next thing you know, she pulls out a table all nonchalant. Like, oh no, here, I got a table. I'm like, you're just walking around with tables in your trunk? For what? So she pulls that out. She pulls out a couch, a couple of chairs, a TV, a PlayStation. Like, she had it all, including food, right? So they sit down, they start eating. Whitney, she notices Monica's new black truck, and she's like,
where did you get that Range Rover from? Because I didn't see that last time when you had it. It looks really pretty, Monica.
and Monica, she tells us that she had to rent it because the car that she originally has, even though she pays for it completely, it's underneath her mom's name, and her mom being petty. After the whole argument that she had with her at Angie K's party and how she left her there with no ride, she told Monica, if you don't give me back the car by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm gonna call the police. Just because the car is in her name, now she wants to get payback on Monica by taking it away from her? Like, what a sorry excuse for a mother. Like, you should be the example, yet you're acting like a child. And you know that Monica has 4 daughters that you know that she needs this car for. You know, to drive them around, to get food, clothes, the school, yet you want to take that from her. And on top of that, you want to threaten her with the police? Like, just insane. I don't know how they go back from this situation. Like, at this point, you know, it's only been like a couple of episodes and they already kind of like, you know, they buried themselves way too deep with the situation between each other. Like, I just don't see Monica forgiving such toxic behavior like this. Like, you know, if anything, Monica's mom, like, you need your ass beat. Who said that? So Whitney was like,
it's crazy that all of us have really bad relationships with our mothers.
Meanwhile, Meredith is sitting to the side listening to this like, I can't relate to you bitches. So she interrupts her and she's like, now wait a minute, I've gone through a lot of trauma in my life, but I still talk to my mother every single day. Like, Meredith, be quiet. Keep that to yourself. Right now, we're trauma bonding, okay? So then Whitney, she starts talking about her daughter's birthday party and how everybody's invited and bring your families, including your mom, Monica. Even though she was just joking, you know that Whitney, deep down inside, she's serious. Because she wants that drama for the show, right? So then she looks over at Meredith. And then this is where Whitney, she just starts making up fairy tales, right? Because she tells Meredith, I feel kind of uncomfortable that you're going to be at the party because Angie K is going to be there. And you said specifically that you were going to ruin her life. And I'm looking at Whitney like, when did she say that? When did Meredith say specifically that she was going to ruin Angie K's life? Yeah, she talked about the rumors and the husbands. She's never said, I'm going to ruin her life. Like, Whitney, like, just making things up right to your face, too. So Meredith was just like, now wait a minute, Whitney. I never said that I was gonna ruin her life. When did I ever say that? So then Whitney, this is where she starts getting her story all discombobulated. And she was like, well, I mean, you did say that you had some rumors or something that you were gonna talk about her husband. You did say that you were gonna ruin her life. Now, Whitney, see, now trying to expose, you know, Sean and talk about the rumors and their marriage or whatever versus ruining her life, 2 different things. You know, she's gonna use those rumors to ruin her life. You know, 2 different things. Like, get it straight. So then eventually, I believe Meredith throws it out there that when she, you know, a couple of episodes ago, she talked about how she was in that car accident. Whitney was actually a witness to it. She drove by, but she didn't know that Meredith was in the car. So she kept driving. And then she found out later on through her Instagram post. That is crazy. I'm pretty sure that Whitney, she probably knew. She was probably driving. She saw like, wait a minute, is that Meredith? Well, let me get home. I need to watch the new Scooby-Doo episode. She probably wouldn't have cared, but Whitney believes that everything that Meredith is going through emotionally because of the car accident is not genuine, that she's just using that as an excuse to not discuss Angie K, her husband, or the rumors that she put out there about the husband and to be held accountable. And that's a pretty cold accusation to make, Whitney, especially when you know that Meredith is not lying about this car accident. You drove by the car that, you know, that she was in, yet now you want to say that everything that she's feeling is not valid? Like, I'm pretty sure that if you were in her shoes and your car spun around and you almost lost your life, I'm pretty sure that you'll be shook about it too. And I'm pretty sure if Meredith flipped this whole situation back on you and told you, you know, all that trauma talk that you've been doing the last 2 seasons about your healing journey and all the trauma that you went through in your childhood, I actually don't believe it. I don't think that you really went through anything. I think that you were just using that as an excuse to get all of our sympathy, and I don't really think that you went through anything in your childhood. Would that be nice of her to say too, Whitney? Because you want to invalidate everybody else's feelings, but the second that, for example, Mary, the second that she calls you a bobblehead, all of a sudden is, oh, Mary's being mean to me. She's being mean to me. Yet you could be mean to everybody else and invalidate everybody else's feelings. So Meredith just ends the conversation by telling Whitney, the fact that I almost lost my life that day when I went over the cliff, and my last interaction was what it was that day. It's just very incomprehensible, truly. And I don't mean to wish harm on anybody emotionally or physically, so I'm not here to hurt anybody, including Angie K. And speaking of Angie K, we head over to her house. She has her dad, Louis Pradagucci, pop those tags. Louis comes on over, they're making a dinner, a big dinner for themselves. And as they're cooking, you know, they're having a good time. Angie K, she's like, I really enjoy spending quality time with my father because he has always taught me the importance of cooking and how cooking and food brings people together. They sit down to eat what they just made, and Louis, my kind of man, asking the right question, he asks Angie, where's your husband Sean? He's not gonna come down and eat with us? Angie's like, oh, he stepped out for a couple of minutes. He went to the hair salon. He should be back soon. A couple of minutes, my ass. But okay, so she asked her dad for relationship advice because her and Sean, they haven't gone on a proper date in over a year, 2 years, something like that. Same. And he's like, well, the only relationship advice that I can give you is to be firm in your relationship. And that's that. My advice would be to get a smaller bed, but, you know, let's start with the intimacy first. And as they're talking, Sean walks in, and the first red flag that I noticed was that he was wearing gray sweatpants. Yikes. And I know a couple of you know exactly what that means. Don't play dumb. You know exactly what that means. He walks in wearing gray sweatpants, and then Angie K's like, oh, are you going to come over and eat with us? He doesn't even get close enough to them. He's like, oh, no, I'm going to go shower. Strike number 2, red flag number 2. You know exactly what that means. He's going to go shower off the stench of the other bitch. Allegedly. I mean, he looks suspicious 24/7, but he walks in, hat, sweatpants, sweater. You know what kind of outfit that is, the I want to fuck outfit. So he's like, oh, no, I'll be back later. You enjoy yourself. I'm going to go upstairs and shower off. Angie's better than me because I would have told production, all right, everybody, let's wrap it up. You already have enough footage of me. Let's all go home. Dad, thank you for coming. This food is not even that tasty, but thank you for coming. You could go home too. I'll get you an Uber. I need to go upstairs and shower too. Sean, wait for me, honey, okay? We finally get the awaited sit down between Mary Cosby and Whitney at this restaurant in the middle of a blizzard. So they get there, they're greeting each other, they hug each other, they're ordering drinks, they're clinking their cups together, they're having casual conversation. Everything seems hopeful, right? And then 6 seconds later, everything falls apart. And I feel like it started with the waitress, because the waitress, I don't know, I feel like she's probably like a Jen Shaw or Whitney fan. Because she came out and all of a sudden she lost her balance and the soup fell over onto Mary Cosby's lap. And I feel like that's where the illusion kind of just went away. Like Mary was just like, oh yeah, this is a sign I shouldn't be here. Even in the confessional, she was like, why couldn't it spill over onto Whitney instead of me? But she still gave Whitney some time to explain herself because she still stayed. So she's still sitting there. Whitney, for once in her life, she's taking accountability. And she was just like,
Okay, so Mary, I just want to say I'm sorry and apologize for everything that I said about you. I shouldn't call you a predator. That's a mean word to call somebody. So I take that back, and I'm really, really sorry about that, okay?
Mary was actually listening to her, and she was telling her that she didn't like her calling her and her husband predators. But of course, the second that Mary opened up her mouth, Whitney gets defensive, and she goes right back to victim mode. And she was like,
no, Mary, but you also need to take accountability for the things that you called me and the mean things that you said about me. And I'm like, all you had to do was just listen first, Whitney, and then maybe explain your side of the story. But you got way too defensive, and now Mary's over it. She's telling you, yeah, you severed any type of future that you had in our friendship. You ruined it. I'm over it. I'm gonna leave. Whitney, she's trying to stop her like, no, please don't leave, Mary. Mary, please don't leave. Stay, we still need to talk. Mary's not having it. She's like, no, I'm gonna leave. Watch me leave. With her big ass Louis Vuitton bag, she's like, no, I'm gonna leave. You're gonna watch me walk out the door. And then Whitney's just sitting there, and then I believe Mary starts calling her a little girl again. She was like, you really need to grow up, Whitney. You need to stop acting like a little girl. And you know that's Whitney's trigger. And I don't get why Whitney has all this mouth and all this energy for everybody on the cast. But for some reason, the second that Mary says anything to her, it's like she becomes a sad little puppy all of a sudden. She's just sitting there like, I thought you were the big bad wolf, Whitney. What happened? So Mary, she continued, and she was just like, you need to grow up. You need to stop acting like a little girl, you bobblehead. And I mean, at that point, Whitney, the friendship is clearly over. I don't see any future between either one of you. So, I mean, at this point, I would just start calling her names too. Like, you know what? At least I'm not fucking my grandfather. That would be my go-to over and over and over when coming at Mary. Like, I'll start yelling it in public in this restaurant if you really want to take it there. But she's just sitting there. Mary, she gets up, she grabs her food, and she's like, you're going to watch me leave, okay? And she walks away, and that's that. I don't think there's any type of future between both of them. And Whitney, that's because you blew it. We head back over to Lisa's house where they're having a reveal party for Jack to finally announce where he's going to be located for his mission. So everybody in Salt Lake City is showing up to Lisa's house. There's this one wide shot of everybody in the living room, and I felt like I was watching a Purge movie for a second. You know, for a second I thought I was gonna hear the announcement, may God be with you all. I was kind of creeped out, but Jack, he gets on the podium, he makes this grand speech. I think that this is the loudest I've ever heard Jack speak on this show. So he opens up the envelope, and where is he going? To Bogota, Colombia. And I'm like, what? To Colombia? You know, because I'm from there. So I was shocked to hear that, but you know, how do I say this nicely? The Mormon church needs to keep their bullshit here in America, specifically in Salt Lake City or wherever it comes from, because the fact that you feel entitled to go to somebody else's country, specifically Colombia in this case, or just any country, and tell the citizens of this country specifically, like, hey, I'm gonna knock on your door, I'm from America, but I'm here to tell you that you should join my church because my church is the way to go. Like, do they not see how that sounds crazy? Like, to me, that's a bunch of bullshit. Like, keep your bullshit here in America and don't try to put it on somebody else in somebody else's country. You know, they're probably looking at you all vulnerable, like, they're American, you know, maybe I guess they know better or whatever. You know, not saying that everybody else feels that way, but, you know, maybe, you know, this will offer me a better life or whatever, you know, whatever. And then they just agree with it. And then they have to follow all these insane rules that we've been hearing on the show. And I just do not personally agree with that whatsoever. Like, the fact that they're making this a big celebration, like, oh yeah, you're going to Colombia. And maybe it is a soft spot because I'm from Colombia and I don't want any of my people to be brainwashed by the bullshittery that they're bringing in the Mormon church. Like if you want to knock on people's door, like knock on your grandmother's door, your aunt's door, your friend's door, somebody else's door, but not people in other countries. Like, that sounds crazy. And then Lisa's ignorant ass, you know, Lisa in the confessional, I cannot believe she said it so proudly, like, oh my God, so, you know, I mean, I guess he's going to Colombia, but I mean, I hope that he doesn't get held at gunpoint every other weekend because that's probably gonna happen when he knocks on people's doors. And I'm like, damn, Lisa, like, what? And she said it so confidently, like with a smile and everything. And, you know, I get it. You know, watching like Netflix and like the news and everything, like countries, they come off dangerous or whatever. But then they could easily point the finger back at America. America's also dangerous. Like, come on out. Like, America, what, you think America's like a playground? No, that could easily happen to Jack in Salt Lake City or like down the street or whatever. Like, do you not watch the news, Lisa? Like, yes, other countries have their own faults and their own, you know, dangerous procedures and everything that you have to be cautious for. But look at America. You can't say that and, you know, just, it's just, I don't know. It's just insane to me that she says that. And she continues on by saying, oh, I really wanted Jack to go to New York City or somewhere in Europe. Just say that you wanted him to go to France or Italy or Greece, one of the typical vacation spots. If anything, Lisa, it should be a privilege that your son Jack even gets to stay in Colombia, to step foot in Colombia and stay there for 2 years. Like, the Colombian food, that's on a whole different level. He's gonna be eating good every single day. And the fact that you downplay it for Europe and New York City, not saying that either one is terrible, but the fact that you downplay it and make it seem like it's a less better option, that's a joke and you sound stupid. So then we get to the showdown between Monica and her mom Linda at this restaurant. And at this point, I don't even think I was watching The Real Housewives anymore. I don't know what I was watching, but it was not The Real Housewives. Because Monica, she shows up to this restaurant, the mom is already there, and the theatrics were already at a 10. She's like, and I'm like, give it up for the actress, everybody. Give it up for the actress. As Portia said. So what's her name? Monica, she sits down. And I'm not sure if she did this on purpose to be petty. She calls the waiter over. And I'm thinking, okay, she's probably going to give her a napkin or something to wipe her fake tears. And she's like, waiter, can you give me a straw? I'm like, Monica, ooh, they did such good casting with her. She's just sitting there unbothered looking at her mom like, okay, what do you want me to do? The mom, she sees that her manipulation and gaslighting tactics aren't working. So she was just like, I need an aspirin now. I have a headache. And then they continue. And then she's like, okay, so what's going on between us? Monica, she's like, look, I didn't appreciate that at Angie K's party, you kept apologizing to everybody, people that you didn't even know. You took their side over mine, in the argument between me and Angie K. And I just do not like that. I don't appreciate that. And then the mom, whew, like I said earlier, she needs an ass whooping because the mom starts mocking Monica's voice and she's like, oh, well, I didn't tell you what not to do like that. And I'm like, oh, lady, you are trying it. And Monica was like, please don't mock my voice. Stop mocking my voice like that. The mom, she continued talking to her nonsense about, well, I was just trying to defend Angie K the same way that you said you were trying to, calm her down and on your trip or whatever. Monica was like, yeah, but I wasn't trying to really get in her face the way you were with my face. The way she handled Angie K and on the trip was completely different from the mom handling her at Angie K the last episode or whatever. And then the mom, all of a sudden, she gets defensive and she was like, oh, can you please not mock my voice? And I'm like, oh, so it's okay for you to do it to her, but the second that you get a little taste of your own medicine, or aspirin in this case, now all of a sudden it's an issue. So they continue going back and forth. Monica is dropping the F-bomb like crazy. So then the mom, eventually, I forgot what happens with her, but she loses it, and she starts calling Monica a mother effer. And then Monica was like, did you just call me a F word? And she was like, no, I call you a mother effer. Monica, I know she's your mom, but absolutely not. I would have told that old bitch, ooh. I would have been like, waiter, can you just get my food to go? Come on, mom, let's go. We're gonna go in the back alley. I think there's some space. Let's go. Come on. I need to go whoop your ass. You are not about to call me a mother effer. That is crazy to me. Linda starts losing it and she starts slamming the table and she tells Monica, you're not gonna talk to me like a weak ass bitch. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Hold on, lady. Who are you talking to? But Monica, she doesn't back down either. She continues dropping the F-bombs you're not going to talk to me like I'm an effing child. Don't talk to me like that. And then all of a sudden now Linda, she wants to use the mother card. Don't talk to me like that. I am still your mother. Yeah. I've said it many times before on my channel, but people kill me with this whole, oh, I'm your parent, I'm your mom, I'm your dad, you shouldn't talk to me like this. But what about everything else? What about the trauma? What about the sadness and depression and the hurt that you caused me as a mother? When does that title come into play? You only want to be whatever title that you give yourself, in this case, mother, when you want to take ownership of me or you want to take some type of power over me, and that's just not happening. And I'm just so glad that Monica is just not backing down to her. Yeah, it could seem disrespectful to people's eyes that she is cursing at her mom or whatever, but look at the type of relationship that the mom has, put on for both of them. So eventually that's that. They keep going back and forth. Monica accuses her of pretending to cry. She's like, oh yeah, you're crying with no tears. Good job, I guess. And she was just like, don't say that to me. Those were sincere. I mean, I tried to cry, but it didn't come out. And eventually, she was just like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. What do you want me to do with anything that you're saying, Monica? And I'm like, wow, lady, you are really disgusting. This whole episode, I'm appalled. Monica brings up being abandoned in Pennsylvania, but the mom is like, well, I had a new job in New York City that I had to go to. I wasn't ready for New York, though. I needed more money. I couldn't afford anything. So just because you had a new job in New York,
You leave your daughter behind in Pennsylvania with a bunch of strangers? How is that smart or safe or healthy to do for both of you, Linda? So Monica, she was just like, look, she goes back to the conversation of trauma from her mother that she passed down to her. She's like, you're taking out the hurt that your mom gave to you, to me. Everything that your mom has put you through, you're putting it through me, and now you're dwindling over to my daughters by taking away the car, and now you're causing all this other type of damage, and I don't like that. And the mom is like, what are you talking about? I already dealt with that type of hurt. I don't need to go back again. I already forgiven her, blah, blah, blah. No, you haven't. Clearly you haven't, because you're acting like a damn monster. And that's usually where it starts. Like I said a couple of seconds ago, you just really have to heal from your past. If not, your past will not go away. Your past will continue being your future until you fix it. If it's like this, especially if it's like this. Like, this is crazy to me, like I keep saying. So the mom is like, well, I don't know what you want us to do. Like, I don't have the tools. I don't have the tools to fix us. And also, Monica brought up the conversation about her being in the trunk of the car while her mom was making out with her boy toys in the car, which I don't think that's healthy to do, especially if she's insinuating that her mom brought out multiple guys. Her mom, on the other hand, Linda, she had tweeted, oh no, she wasn't in the trunk. She was simply in the back seat of the car. Because that's even better, but okay. And again, she continues denying that. And everything that Monica keeps throwing out there, she just keeps, hammering down like, no, no, no. Yet she wants Monica to be accepted of her feelings and her thoughts. Like, it's just, whew, my goodness, it's just insane listening to both of them go back and forth for a good 10 minutes, too. The waiter eventually came. The mom, Linda, she continues being petty, like, oh, look at this food right here, this dessert. Monica is like, that's guacamole. But again, Linda was just extremely aggressive, like, I'm surprised she didn't jump across the table at her. And Monica's like, I'm not gonna do this right now. I need to go take care of my kids. I need to go pick them up. So I'm wasting my time. She gets up. She walks away, and that's that. Monica's mom is left there looking stupid. Like, it's just, whew. That was an intense conversation between both of them, though. And I don't know how they're going to get back on the right track. Like, I don't see that for them. But I guess we shall see how the season plays out. And do they live together? I think they live together, right? Yikes, but what an intense episode. Let me know what you all thought about this whole episode down in the comments, and what you think about this whole relationship between Monica and her mom. Do you see a possible future? Anyway, let me know what you all thought about this whole episode down in the comments. Bye, everybody. Mwah.